guys, this is Natasha, aka Natty Willie. I'm quickly back for my spoiler review of episode 2 of The Wheel of Time, called Shadows Waiting. And we are continuing where we left off for the first episode, where the Fab Five and Moiraine and Lan are off on the run. The Trollocs are after them, and they have to get away from them as quickly as possible. And you start to see the temper tantrum, so to speak, of the Fab Four, because Nynaeve went off somewhere and we don't know if she survived that one Charlotte that took her away. We were wondering what the hell happened to Nynaeve. We're like, what? I know some of the non-readers are like, wait, y'all be talking about Nynaeve like she in the main cast. I'm not understanding why she run off with a Trolloc, and we haven't seen her at all this episode. But we do see her at the tail end, which was awesome and very, very Nynaeve and very true to the books. What we know. that I do recall reading that moment, and I was like, I was hella laughing. I was like, yeah, that is so Nynaeve, and I love it. So this episode, we do see Shadow Logoth, but let me just build up to that. So yes, they're on the run, and then Moiraine kind of sinks the ferry, and it was important that she do that, and we do see someone die from that, and the Fab Four see that, and they're like, yeah, I don't want to mess with her, but I kind of don't want. It's like these Trollocs are after us. I see y'all across the river, so I get why she did it, but at the same time, that's messed up. But we also get Aemon Valdez and the White Cloaks. I am definitely looking forward to what they do with the White Cloaks. They're already even more menacing and more of a threat, especially since he already killed. So we find out when Moiraine actually meets up, incidentally, with Aemon Valdez and the other White Cloaks, that he already has 7 wings, and 8 sisters had gone out on a mission. You just hunting them, and they're minding their business? What jurisdiction do you have for that introduction to them? I do, even though it's a slight departure, I'm definitely for it, because we actually do meet the White Cloaks in the first book, but they were definitely a threat as far as what happens later, but at the same time they were still annoying. So yeah, he has no qualms burning you at the stake. And their ideology, a little bit, because they're walking the light. The light protects us. It's kind of like Moiraine was even a little threatened. It wasn't a thing where she could still be in Aes Sedai and travel safely if she is surrounded by White Cloaks. So yeah, that's definitely the fact that she has to hide like that. And I think they kind of did in the books too, because if they felt it wasn't really necessary to establish that they're an Aes Sedai, they just didn't, especially if they were on a mission. But at the same time, in a lot of cases, they flaunted the fact that they were Aes Sedai. So the fact that they can't even do that, but she also has other people with her, so there's that too. So yeah, definitely very good scenes. And the guy that's playing Aemon Valdez, yes, I've seen him in other stuff. Oh my gosh, Aemon Valdez, like I said in the trailer breakdown, he is a dick. He is very much a dick, and I'm not looking forward. Well, I am looking forward, but not looking forward to what he does, because it's definitely really effed up. Okay, and and I'm sorry, but I did forget to mention on my review for episode 1, Podon Fane. I totally forgot about him. But yeah, he just upped and left like he knew that they were coming. What was that about? but also just his interaction with Matt. And I know from my book readers, I feel like that's kind of like a definite foreshadowing the fact that Pat on Fame, that was the only person he really interacted with. I do think that was interesting, especially since, you know, Matt was trying to like trade him for money and whatnot. And I did like that. But back to episode 2. I find it interesting that they're introducing Balsamon or the dreams in this fashion. I actually I like that, but he looks so much like Sauron. Like, oh yeah, Sauron making a cameo in the Wheel of Time. All right, he definitely just reminded me of Sauron, like the eyes and everything, like the eyes. Yeah, that's. He does come in that kind of weird ass fashion in the book, so I wasn't surprised. It just wasn't surprising. I am wondering like how else they're introducing the dreams in the series, especially with the ability of what those dreams can do, and especially when it comes to like foretelling or you know, like foreshadowing, and also just like, you know, things can happen in dreams. That's and we also see the scene where Egwene and Moiraine have that conversation of her, you know, being able to channel. And I do find it interesting that, you know, they're doing something where you're flowing in the river, or you're like letting the river guide you versus the rosebud. I feel like either way there's going to be some major like low crassy jokes. But I feel like the river kind of like makes a little more sense than like the bud. I feel like we've outgrown the bud. You're a bud. The river works just as fine. It works just as fine. We actually get to see or hear about the story of Monetarian, which I think was really cool. It was like kind of like a light moment between the characters, and they actually do a little singing, which was really cool too. And so I did like that moment, and just her explaining like what happens with the story of Monetarian. And there was definitely foreshadowing for that, especially when they turned the camera to a certain person. Who did they switch to? I'm like, all right, y'all really doing some major foreshadowing here, guys. Come on now. So I thought that was interesting. So let's talk about the wolves. What? I do. Words. It's a slight departure, but how is that gonna work? I get that acting can be a thing where you can like say things with no words, but I feel like in this case we're gonna need to hear something. I'm gonna need to hear Hopper's voice. I'm gonna need to hear something. Okay. I think that was Hopper that healed Perrin's wound. I do think that was Hopper, but I can see how at least initially we should get like a kind of like a foreshadowing of what's happening here, like a little more mystery, a little more like what's happening. And we do finally get to see Bella. Yay, Bella. Bella. I did now that we're talking about Shadow Logoth, that was very well done. Very well done. The Black Wind? Yeah. And it did happen in the books, that how they got separated, that is very true to the books. I am so glad that we did that, especially again at the last part where Nynaeve was like, yeah, you better take me to him because I'm about to go ham. Okay? But that separation, definitely super cool. That was a very well done scene. It definitely like felt like, and you know, you kind of like, as book readers, you're like, yeah, they're gonna survive, but that was still freaky. So I'm so glad they made an example of the horse, poor thing. But at the same time, like even Lan was like, and Moiraine was like, we ain't trying to go to the Shadow Logoth, what you doing? And then Matt takes the dagger. Major moment. That dagger looked gorgeous. So yeah, we're about to start Matt's journey with the dagger, y'all. The dagger. And let's talk about briefly Ran and Egwene again. Ran was being petty, but I do recall him being just as petty in the books, because he wasn't, he was just like, what are you doing? Like, you're blindly trusting this chick. And for the first episode, I wasn't surprised that we didn't see a certain character. We do see him in episode 3, which I will be talking about shortly, but he finally made his debut. I was like, yay! That's another video. But I think overall this was still a decent episode, although I felt like the pacing was just a little bit like, it was okay, but I feel like it could have been just a slightly faster or just slightly slower in some parts. It's kind of hard to describe. Like, I felt like it was kind of disjointed, only because, like, I know they're skipping some parts, so maybe that's why I feel disjointed, especially with reading Eye of the World, or, having read Eye of the World a few times, based on my memory. Just based on memory, guys. Memory. But it's just a lot. Yes, we have to establish that, they're riding and everything. But, I mean, there are some cities that they actually hit, I want to say before. No, maybe that is after. That is after. Okay. So it definitely makes sense. Torrance Ferry, that got a shout out, which was like, yay, Torrance Ferry. But overall, I think, again, we're still, like, trying to, like, get wet, so to speak, as far as the acting, especially among the noobs. So I think, they're starting to come into their own as far as, like, these characters are getting their essence. I still felt their essence in the first episode, and I'm starting to feel their essence here. I am starting to enjoy even more Josha's performance as Rand, and, Maddie as, Egwene. And definitely, of course, Daniel and Moiraine as, Daniel and Rosamund as Moiraine and Lan. So, yeah, I feel like this was another solid episode 2. So, again, I feel like I'm still, like, scratching the surface on a lot of this, like, especially breaking it down, but I feel like I got the main points, I hope, because wow, guys, Shadow Logoth, I did enjoy, like, Lan's story of Shadow Logoth and why it is the way that it is. And yeah, that's definitely Shadow Logoth. I know he pronounced it slightly different, but that's how I pronounce it. Take it or leave it. That's what happens when you've been listening to the books or just reading the books for so long. You're just like, yeah, that's how they pronounce it. I'm just gonna go with that. Stubborn ass. But yeah, overall, just another solid episode. So that there were the little moments I was like, yay, yay, yay. Because I'm getting on the 15-minute mark, I'm going to go ahead and do another video of episode 3. Like, I feel like each episode definitely deserves this little 15 minutes of fame here, okay? Or even slightly longer. So, thanks, guys. I am definitely going to be back for my spoiler review of episode 3. Willcat 12, TeamJVS. It's time to roll the dice. Let's do this. I'll be back. Bye.